with arms wide open. Today is where your book begins. Feel the rain on your skin. No one else can feel it for you. Only you can let it in. No one else can speak the words on your lips. Drench yourself in words unspoken. Live your life with arms wide open. Today is where your book begins. The rest is still unwritten. The rest is still unwritten. The rest is still unwritten. Thank you.
Wow, another hard act to follow. Thank you, Richard. The rest is still unwritten. Goes right along with what I had written this morning. It's a new year, a new you in 2022. You know, a lot of churches have themes. So I was just thinking, putting this together, that maybe that could be our theme for this year. A new you in 2022. I think that's pretty cool. So today is graduation day. It's graduation day because today we are graduating into a new year, into a new experience, into the creation of a new you. Today we begin to write the pages that are unwritten yet. We begin to create who it is we are going to be this time next year. Next year we are going to be different people than we are sitting here, right here today. Wherever you're sitting, if you're sitting at home or if you're sitting here, you're going to be different. There's no doubt about that. So today is graduation day. Last week, in our letters to God, we finished up 6 weeks of self-discovery. 6 weeks of spiritual practice. Advent started 6 weeks ago. We're going into our 7th week. It seems like a long time ago, doesn't it? When we started with hope. But actually, it's only been 6 weeks. But what an action-packed 6 weeks we have lived through, haven't we? Yes, we're all wearing masks again. We're all, life's different. Life has changed in this 6 weeks. Imagine what's going to be going on this year. We began focusing on hope and love and peace and joy. We've lit candles in recognition of the Christ presence. We've released what no longer serves us to the transforming and transmuting fire of the Holy Spirit in our burning bowl. We've written words of inspiration on our white stones to remind us the truth of our being. We've delved into our potential and our possibilities and acknowledge them and send them forth in our letters to God. So what's left? It's time to do it. It's time to go. As I say usually, when I walk out the door, I say to Calvin the cat, well, it's time to do this thing. And it is. Now is the time. We're prayed up. We know our potential. We know our intentions. So it's time to step into 2022 as we consciously choose our experience this coming year. We can do that because we're bolstered by a greater wisdom, a greater understanding. We're empowered by a strengthened faith. We've gained all these things through our experience of the past year. Now, unlike 2 years ago, when it was a great big OMG experience, we know the ropes of this COVID crud. We've pretty much established ourselves as individuals in what to do and how to do it. What is best for us, what is best for our community and those around us. We are better able to be cautious rather than fearful. Cautious appears to be the name of the game this year. I've heard that a lot. Because it's like we're going into 22 like, hello. We're being cautious. And it's important to be cautious. It's important to be wise. Pandemic aside, this year will go on as any other year has. The experience of the year will happen. Opportunities for blessings, blessings to give, blessings to receive are going to appear. There's going to be triumphs. There's going to be tragedies. There are going to be miracles. And there's going to be plenty of what the heck was that moments. It's going to be another year, another opportunity. Every single one of them is going to have within it the presence of Spirit. In the good and in the not so good, God is. Period. In the good and in the not so good, God is. Not necessarily as cause, because we are given free will to create our own life experience, but as provider. Spirit is within every experience as provider. Provider for whatever it is you need to create that new you. That new you that will begin its journey into the next year. The new you of 2022. Now, what's going to happen, what always happens, is as we move through the year, we collect our experiences. We collect our wisdom. We gain our greater understanding. And hopefully, we come out a better individual for ourselves and for our community and the world around us. We can see how this can work in John. The story in John, it's a very good story. I'm sure most of you know it. It's in John 15 through 16. This is the third appearance of Jesus after the resurrection. The guys went out fishing. They're out fishing, and as what happens sometimes, they're not catching anything. They're fishing and fishing and fishing and not catching anything. So here's this person shows up on the shore, says, cast your nets on the other side of the boat. That's where the fish are. And so they do. And lo and behold, they can't hardly pull the net in. Peter knows who it is immediately. He jumps in and swims ashore because, that's how he is. All the rest row the boat in. So Jesus is sitting there. He's got breakfast started. He's got the fire going. He says, come, sit down. Let's have breakfast. And in the story, which is pretty cool, it says when they had, come and have breakfast. Now, none of the disciples dared to ask him, who are you? Because they knew it was the Lord. They knew it was him, but they did not recognize him. That's one of the strange things that happens throughout his resurrection, his appearances through his resurrection. They know who it is, but they don't recognize him. Mary did not recognize him. She was probably his number one disciple. She didn't recognize him first time she saw him. She thought he was the gardener. These guys who have spent the past 3 years at his side did not recognize him. But they knew it was Jesus. They knew it was the Christ. And again, as we look at this type of scripture, when they're talking about Jesus, it's speaking about the Christ, your inner presence. Sometimes we don't recognize it. It's showing up. We know what it is, but we don't recognize it because it's showing up as something new. I know this is good. This is good for me. But I don't recognize it. So what do? January is the month of faith. Blue is the color. We have faith. We step into this new expression of the Christ. And we have breakfast. We're nourished. We're filled with the truth, with a new experience, with a greater life that is to be. Now, during their breakfast, Jesus said to Simon Peter, "Simon, son of John, do you love me more than these?" He said to him, "Yes, Lord, you know that I love you." Jesus said to him, "Feed my lambs." A second time he said to him, "Simon, son of John, do you love me?" He said to him, "Yes, Lord, you know that I love you." Jesus said to him, "Tend my sheep." And he said to him a third time, "Simon, son of John, do you love me?" Now Peter felt hurt because he had told him the third time. He had asked him the third time, "Do you love me?" And he said to him, "Lord, you know everything. You know that I love you." Jesus replied, "Feed my sheep. Feed my sheep. Tend my sheep." Now, Simon Peter got aggravated with Jesus Christ. If you can imagine that, being aggravated with Jesus Christ, because he kept asking him the same question over and over and over again. There's times I know when I get aggravated with the Christ, when I get the same thing asked and put before me over and over and over again. I get do I have to be kind to this jerk again? Do I have to do this again? Yes, you do. Because that's the truth of who you are. It may be the third, fourth, or fifth time when you show kindness to someone who isn't necessarily being kind to you. But after 3, 4, maybe 5 times, the next time they're kind. They've changed. Because you respond rather than react. Because you show love, because you show kindness, because you do your best to show understanding, it will finally wear off on them. And they'll get it. Most will, some won't. Those that won't, next time they come up, you just go another way. We'll get to that later. The concept is feed my sheep, not count them. That was something I learned in seminary. Frank Judici, our Bible teacher, told that to us all the time. He said, when you're out doing church, One of the big things in church is the first question they will ask you is, how many people do you have on Sunday? So that makes no difference. Jesus told us to feed our sheep, not count them. And sheep doesn't necessarily mean people. Sheep can mean your ideas, your dependent ideas, because sheep are dependent on their caretaker. Your ideas and beliefs are dependent on you. Feed whatever it is that is put before you to feed. Tend whatever it is that is put before you to tend. Whether it be beliefs, ideas, people, whatever, whoever. Feed them. Don't count them. Nothing is there to tally. Oh, I was good 5 times this week. You know, I get 5 heaven points for that. Minister humor, you get heaven points, you get hell points. Even though we do not teach or preach or believe in hell, sometimes it's nice to go, they just earned 4 hell points. It calms us sometimes. But it's a different concept between counting and feeding. One is limited. We're counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Every digit is a limit. Every digit is a limit. When you're feeding, you are creating growth. You are creating nourishment in which there is no limit. Feeding the sheep, being an example through right living, being a source of nourishment for the human race by holding in mind, thought, and prayer the fullness of your potential of loving others and loving yourself. Doing all this in spite or because of your shared humanity. In any journey, you usually come to a crossroads. There's a crossroads. You come to a few sometimes. When you come to a crossroad in life, especially when it's a time of choosing this way or that way, you usually have a companion there with you. Your companion could be a person, or it could be a belief in your world. Imagine standing there. You're at a crossroad, converging roads. Road goes that way, road goes that way. In the middle is a nice big rock, perfect for sitting on. So you and your partner take a seat on the rock to discuss which path to take. You sit there, you talk it out, say, okay, we're going to go this way. Off you go, this way. You hear a voice, wait a minute, come back for a second. So you go back. Your partner says, come sit down again. Let's talk about this a little bit more. Okay. So you sit down, talk about it a little bit more, come to a decision. Yeah, we're going to go that way. Off you go. Wait. Come back. Off you come back again. I need just a little more time. A little more time with it. Let's just rest a bit before we start this journey. Think about it. Just make sure we're doing the right thing. Every time you take off, if every time you take off, you're called back to wait, rest, talk about it. You have a rock sitter in your life. You have a rock sitter. If every time you begin your journey and you're called back, it depends on yourself that how many times you will return. Are you going to return because out of politeness? out of care for this other individual or idea, or out of raging codependence. It doesn't matter. How many times you return and do not continue on your journey is up to you. And it will be up to you to determine how many times you will return to the rock, and how many times when you're heading out, they say, wait, come back. You go, nah, I'm good. And you continue on your way. To do what it is that God would have you do, to experience what it is that Spirit would have you experience, to be what it is that Spirit would have you be in this path that you have chosen. This year, folks, as you move into creating a new you in 2022, as you take all it is that you are, all it is that you have been created to be at this moment in time, and start down this new path, on this new journey into discovering who you are going to be, beware of rock sitters. Beware of rock sitters as they show up in your crossroads. Don't let them hold you up very long, because you do have places to go and sheep to feed. God blesses you.